Hey, welcome to the first ever instant reaction Creighton Bluejay post game show. We are live here on YouTube. Tim Kruger tonight, along with Zach Weaver. We are sponsored by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and West Pacific Dental Group for all your dental needs. We would love to have your feedback as the show rolls on here. I'm just going to repeat this right now, and we'll pass it along to you later. You can also find this at the bottom of the YouTube channel where you signed in. The number is 312-626-6799. You're going to be asked for a meeting ID, and that would be 841-833-71661. And the password is 583-839. We'll repeat those slower later to you, but as I said, they're on the bottom of the screen. Just go down and find those and give us a call in, and you won't be on video, so you're all safe. Okay, you can just we would love to see your beautiful faces, but we'll just be doing an audio for right now. We're so happy to be doing this show again. I know some of you are probably flicking on the radio on 1620 after the game, waiting to hear us. We're on live on YouTube right now after the games, and normally these shows will be much quicker after the game. So we'll keep you informed on when the times of these programs are going to be on, and the best way to do that is to follow us on Twitter at Bluejay Banter. Big, huge show for you tonight. We mentioned our great sponsors, Equitable Bank and West Pacific Dental Group. We'll also give our thoughts on the game, and then a little bit Coach's Corner with assistant coach Ryan Miller. And then we'll have Unsung Hero, Worst Call of the Night, just like the features we've always had, including Live from the Locker Room, where we've got a couple of clips from Baylor Schreierman, Trey Alexander, and from Coach McDermott. And then also we'll have game highlights, which we'll put them on the screen, kind of break down what you may have seen tonight. Maybe you haven't seen it if you're living out of the Omaha area and weren't able to go. Obviously, we will break down the game for you and give you all of the updates. Again, that phone number, 312-626-6799. I'll give you another minute to grab a pen and jot this down. It is 312-626-6799. And as you get on that phone call, the meeting ID number is 841-833-71661 with the 6-digit password of 583-839. Okay. So as we wait for Coach Miller to join us, it was a 109 for those people that don't know. It was a 109 to 57 romp over Drury University, much as you would expect in exhibition game to go. It did. Drury hung around the first half. I thought played pretty darn well. I don't know how you felt, Zach, but I thought they played pretty well in the first half.
Yeah, scrappy, I think would be a good word. They were pretty physical for a team
Yeah.
that's smaller. I mean, as evidenced by them getting that flagrant one. I didn't quite catch what happened there.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Yeah, it seemed a bit quick. I could
It
tell.
seemed like an average Big East play to me.
Yeah, yeah, and I know Kalkbrenner wasn't very happy about it. He was kind of chirping afterwards, but yeah, they were really scrappy. They weren't afraid to really go at Kalkbrenner in the middle. But then kind of size gets overwhelming. You get some tired legs when you're going against guys that are just
Sure.
bigger and more athletic. But
yeah, we were talking about that during the game. I mean, you see this a lot. D2, D3 schools hanging around in the first half. They're able to shoot the ball okay. They're able to do kind of what they want to do. The high major team is not fully engaged. And then when the second half rolls around, and in this particular game, it was 61-38 at halftime. So Creighton gave up 38 points to a middle of the road Division II team.
Yeah.
That couldn't have set well with Mac. And if you notice in the second half, they then went on something like a 27-4 run where they held them to 4 or 6 points. Geez, I want to say through a good 12, 13 minutes of that second half. Yeah. So that was kind of like, you could tell that was a message. Okay, guys, we know you can score. Let's play a little bit of defense. And so they did, and that's what it turned out to be.
Mhm.
Leading scores tonight, it was really balanced.
Yeah.
And just so you know, 109.57. I mean, we could have put up 120, 125 without any problem. We basically played walk-ons for the last
It was
5, 6 minutes of the game.
it was longer than that. I think because I looked up at the scoreboard when Sammy checked in, and I think that was like 11 and something minutes left.
Yeah.
So it was
But when they
pretty
fully
early
went
on.
to it,
Yeah.
yeah, when they fully went to it, John Christophilus and Green were out, Jason Green were out there,
Yep.
but other than that, it was walk-ons. So a real balanced performance tonight. Arthur Kaluma had 17. Kalkbrenner had 16. Trey had 15. We'll talk about him in a minute. Baylor had 14. Great night for Ben Schultzberg, our NIL guy.
Yeah.
13 points. He was very, very impressive. And then 10 points from Frederick King, who I think fans who hadn't, you and I've seen him in practice,
Yep.
so we knew what to expect. Fans that hadn't seen him were probably a little bit, whoa, didn't know this was here.
Yeah.
But he's pretty aggressive down low, and
He
you
is.
saw what he can do. Little and as Max said after the game in the press conference, pretty much he pretty much matched up to what Ryan was when he was a freshman down low.
Yeah.
Some really good play, and then some maybe not so good play. But I thought for the most part he played pretty darn well.
Yeah, he's big, he's athletic. The skill isn't quite there as much, but he can move. I think has a little bit getting used to the pace left to do, but I mean, he can body up with anybody. And he's long, he'll block some shots. Just once he gets, his footwork down, once he gets those baby hooks that you saw Kalkbrenner really come into his own and use last year, he's going to be a very, very good big.
By the way, so discussion among the people I was watching the game with. So one of my friends, Schmitty, says, okay, well, who is the last player to have a triple double? And I'm like, okay, could maybe have Mo Watson had a game where he, snagged 10 rebounds and had the assists and scoring. And, you're thinking back to some players who could have did it. And he said, it was way, way, way back. Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. And I kind of doubted him, but he was correct. It was a long, long time ago. And the reason that came up was Baylor Schreierman had 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he was very close, 3 assists away from having a triple-double.
I know that Mo Watson flirted with a triple-double a few times. Even I remember there was one game I think Austin Chapman had like 10, 9, and 8.
That could be, he would have been a guy,
a
great candidate there.
And Grant Gibbs as well. He flirted with it a few times. But I feel
Benoit Benjamin was the last player.
Yeah, so that's
so
80s.
We're almost 40 years.
Yeah.
It was, I believe, 85, if I'm correct. So, yes, 37 years ago. So crazy.
And that could change this year. That could very easily change this year.
For someone. Could be. Could be. As you'll see later when we do the highlights, Baylor Schreierman with a unbelievable no-look over-the-head pass that brought the house down. And you'll also get to hear Coach Mack talk about it later too.
I wish that I could have seen my own face after that. that was like a Magic Johnson pass. That was a Showtime Lakers pass.
I wondered how much Mack would go inside just because their tallest player was 6'7". So I wondered how much we'd go inside. But man, the first play right off the get-go was one of those pick and roll lobs, and Kalkbrenner slammed it down the very first play. And I'm like, okay, well, they're just going to run their normal stuff and go from there. I didn't want to bring up Trey Alexander. Trey, if you go back on the YouTube channel and go back a couple of episodes, and you'll see that the show where he did the at Media Day where we did all the player interviews. I talked with Trey. He spoke about in that interview how much he'd been working on his 3-point shot. And, he knew that, compared to last year, he had to maybe bring that up a bit. He was 3 of 4 tonight. And and had one more that I thought was a great look that just didn't go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked very good shooting the ball tonight.
I believe what he said in that media day interview was he was up 20% in practice to 42%. And that was one of my biggest takeaways as well from the practice after media day was how good he looked just catching and shooting. He looked way more comfortable, when it goes into his hands, just putting it right up. And that translated tonight. And I was surprised to see him just come out shooting like that. But then we look back on what he himself told us, and he delivered on it.
Yeah, just so we were 10 of 25 total.
Mm-hmm.
But if you throw out the walk-ons, who were a paltry 1 of 5,
Yeah.
so that would have been a 9 for 20,
Yeah.
almost 50%.
Yeah, 45%.
Which is what we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been a tremendous 3-point average for the night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even 10 for 25 is a good percentage.
Oh, absolutely.
That's still
Absolutely.
40%. That's golden. What you want a good team wants to shoot for 35, 37%. So if they can make that happen, that's a good look.
By the way, if you don't feel like calling in and you want to send us an email, absolutely do. Go to Bluejay Banter at gmail.com. That's bluejaybanter at gmail.com. Send us an email. We'd be happy to read your comment or answer your question as the night goes along.
And we do have a live chat as well that we can read. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Tim has it open, but I have it open. I can read those questions if you have a question for Tim. So
absolutely, let's do it. So again, give us a call. As we said, that 312-626-6799. The meeting ID and password is down at the bottom of the screen. Be happy to listen to your comments, chat with us about the game. The other main thing, too, is while you're on that YouTube channel and you go to it, make sure you go down to the bottom and hit the subscribe button and the like button. That subscribe button is very, very important to us, so make sure you hit that so we know who is subscribing. And that is also a way, if you don't have tickets to the games and want to go to the games, that's a way for you to get entered in to our ticket drawing for selected games throughout the season to join with us. Who else? If I asked you, Zach, this player really positively surprised me tonight, who would you say?
I think we talked about this a little bit before the show, but Mason Miller, for me, no points, but the way that he really just attacked the boards athletically and did small things, that's what gets you playing time. I mean, there's going to be plenty of points scored for this team this season, right? But if you're the guy who's coming in there and doing the dirty work, and we know he can make threes, that's what he was brought in for as well. But he looked really athletic he had those 2 back-to-back offensive rebounds. And if you're a guy that's going to, you're 7th, 8th guy off the bench, but you're going to come in and do that, you're going to get plenty of minutes. And I was really, really impressed with that.
Yeah, I thought some people tonight, I heard comments say, wow, Mason Miller didn't do anything. Da, 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 da. I thought he gave great minutes. I thought that's kind of what I want to see from him right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see guys go out. Like early on, you could tell Baylor was just absolutely going to chuck up threes. Yeah. I mean, he wanted to hit that one to get the crowd going, to kind of say, hey, I've arrived. And,
yeah, he's a man of the people.
Yeah. and hit that one, to kind of show everybody his range.
Yeah.
But I thought Mason played within himself, which was really good, and showed a lot of hustle out there. And I'm telling you, this kid can do a lot of things and is going to be very valuable to this team. So I wouldn't really get too concerned about that tonight. I thought that was a real solid performance from him.
Yeah, and we got a chatter who said, I like what we got off of our bench. Rotation seems set. Reef, Bello, Miller, King coming off the bench. Schultzberg is going to be a dude. Yeah, and all of the freshmen, none of the freshmen really forced anything at all, which was nice to see. They didn't come in chucking up shots or anything. They really just played their game.
Yeah,
which is really, really encouraging.
By the way, we should mention this right at the get-go because another post-game show did not have this information, and we did. Sharif Mitchell did not play tonight. the reason he did not play was not injury related. It had to do with something that happened over the offseason that he and Coach Mack agreed to, that tonight he would not play. And so that was, quote unquote, his discipline action. And everything's cool going forward. So we're good with that.
Mm-hmm. Which is
Zach,
unfortunate.
do we have that phone number?
Yes, the phone number is 1-312-626-6799, and it's also just right below the video. If you're interested in calling in, it's right there. You can check it out anytime. If you're not sure about it now, but you change your mind later, it's right there along with the meeting ID and the password, which it'll prompt you to put in once you call that phone number. So that's how you can get a hold of us if you have any comments, questions.
Absolutely. All right. We're waiting on Coach Miller, so hopefully soon he will be joining us, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I would just want to mention our great sponsors here. Equitable Bank, probably serving Nebraska for over 100 years, has two great area locations on 204th and Elkhorn and at 108th in the Old Mill district, just north of TD Ameritrade headquarters. They're the bank of Bluejay Banter, so you want to join them. You know, they have great checking features, no minimum balance, free online bill pay, electronic statements, and the ever popular Equitable Bank debit card. So check them out today. Let them be the bank of your choice. Equitable Bank. They take banking personally, and they also do for sure answer the phone on the first ring. 109.57. That was the final tonight. So you said Mason was positive on that end. How about anyone else?
I think Ben Stolzberg as well. The way that he kind of came in offensively, 2-foot jump stop, just really under control, taking his shots. You kind of see his game, and he has that quiet confidence where he doesn't really seem like a guy who's intimidated at all. And obviously, I mean, Baylor it's like he was made in a lab for a Creighton team. He can he can shoot, he can he's a great passer, and he goes after rebounds like nobody's business. I think he almost knocked over a few of his own teammates going for some of those rebounds. So
all right, it is time for Coach's Corner, and we are ready to speak to assistant coach Ryan Miller. Coach, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic, Coach. Thanks for being on the first ever Instant Reaction Bluejay Banter post-game show on YouTube. I couldn't think of a better guy to have on. All the conversations we've had about podcasts, I couldn't think of a better guy to have on.
I appreciate you having me on, Tim. Appreciate it a lot.
All right. What going into this game did you have? Like, what was your one or two big takeaways that you wanted to see out there tonight?
Oh, we just want to see, number one, how we would compete with the lights on and bands in the stands and the referees blowing whistles and the popcorn popping. Just see how we compete, how we'd share the ball, and how unselfish our team would be under those circumstances when you first get a chance to play in front of a crowd,
Yeah, no doubt. Popcorn popping, that reminds me of the Corn Palace in Mitchell. But,
Exactly right.
Well, a couple of takeaways. I'm sure, Zach and I have seen Frederick King, so we knew what he could do. But I think his size and his actual skill down low kind of surprised a few fans tonight that hadn't seen him, and his ability to be able to back up Ryan throughout the season.
Yeah, you guys have seen him, so you know the talent that Frederick King is. I mean, extraordinary talent. Hasn't been playing basketball very long. Grew up on a remote island in the Caribbean, and just a heck of a young man, heck of a kid, heck of a story, and a heck of a talent that is developing every single day, and his progress from the day he stepped on campus from today is huge. And this time he spent at NBA Academy in Latin America. They've done a good job with him, and he's come ready to be able to play a significant role on a team that's pretty dang good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be big time that he'll be able to spell Caulk, whether just for a break or if Caulk gets in foul trouble. Which a guy really that is one of the great features about Caulk is he for a big guy he doesn't get many fouls. I mean, he really doesn't get fouls. He has a great verticality. And I want to mention that because it's something that I noticed at practice with you, Coach. You work on that verticality without fouling like I've never seen anybody do, and I think it pays big dividends with this team not getting fouls.
Yeah, that's a big thing Coach McDermott preaches. I mean, we don't want to be a team that fouls. We don't want to send the team to the line, but we want confrontation at the rim. I mean, how do we do that without fouling is a big component of our defensive strategy. Going vertical to the rim, being able to go straight up and not coming down, not fouling, not being reckless with fouls at the rim, but yet making the offense score through contact is a huge principle of our defense, and it's something like you've seen us work on basically every single day, Tim. How can we have confrontations at the rim, making the offense score through physicality, but not getting called for fouls?
Back to media day, we were talking with Trey Alexander, and he was mentioning how hard he's worked on his 3-point shooting and how much, how his percentage has risen. He showed that tonight.
Yes, I mean, Trey Alexander's an unbelievable player, unbelievable kid, unbelievable teammate. It's all around a heck of a player and a heck of a young man. He works very hard in his game, and he showed tonight. He will show the world, not only Creighton fans, how good a talent he is.
Coach, Zach, my partner here was saying earlier how he picked out one guy and he picked out Mason Miller. And I know some people are sitting around me are like, wow, Mason hasn't scored. But Zach was very impressed with his effort he gave out there and how hard he played. And I was impressed with how he just let the game come to him. Guys want to get out there and do the dunk or hit the three or go nuts on a big drive or something. And sometimes won't succeed and will get themselves so out of the offense that things won't work. I thought Mason did a nice job of just being himself tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we got 5 or 6 guys that have a significant role scoring the basketball. And sometimes there's a lot of value of a guy that's going to do some things that maybe go unheralded, unnoticed by the common fan or the layman eye. And Mason's going to have to be one of those guys this year. Make open threes when he gets the opportunity, get to the rim and score, but also go make those hustle plays like you saw him flying around the rim and grabbing rebounds and stuff like that. And, his first year playing high-level college basketball, redshirted last year. And, his role will expand as the year goes on. But we got 5 or 6 guys that are, can put the ball in the hoop. And those guys are pretty talented. And there's a role for some people that come in and do the right thing, move the basketball, go and fly and make the hard play, go make the tough rebound, play some defense, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think his athleticism, his athleticism more than anything else will probably be what surprises fans this season. You think of the typical 6'9" shooter we've had at Creighton hasn't exactly been a leaper, but he can get up. He can get up and grab some rebounds and throw down
his
some dunks.
His mother was an All-American Division I volleyball player at Florida, and obviously my brother played at Florida and then had an NBA career. So he's a great athlete. He's got to learn how to use that athleticism, and he is. Just like tonight, flying around the rim, making those plays. A couple weeks ago when we played Iowa State in a secret scrimmage, he got up above the rim and got a couple offensive rebounds and putbacks. I mean, those are the things that he's going to have to do and make the open three, which he's really good at. I mean, he didn't get any opportunities tonight. The ball was kind of moving, didn't get his direction. Obviously didn't get any opportunities. But those opportunities will come as more of the focus. And as you start getting into scouting reports, they're going to try to take Arthur away. They're going to try to take Trey away. They're going to try to take Ryan Nemhard away, and Mailer Shireman away. And he's going to have some opportunities to make some shots, make some offensive plays as the year goes on. and he'll be able to do that too.
Baylor, 14 points, no surprise there. 7 assists, probably not a big surprise there. I think maybe for some people, the 10 rebounds is a little bit of a surprise, but a guy that has his kind of size playing that 3 position, he's going to be able to get a lot of rebounds for us this year, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Baylor he's one of those guys that just has the knack for the play, right? Whether it's chase down the ball, an offensive, defensive rebound, get a free throw rebound like he did tonight, behind the back pass or behind the head pass. He just has a knack for the ball and natural instincts that a lot of players don't have that allows them to see a play or 2 or 3 plays ahead before the play materializes. So it puts them in good positions to go get rebounds. It puts them in good positions to make the assist. And then, of course, the scoring ability and shooting ability was there at South Dakota State, and it was highlighted tonight,
Yeah, absolutely. So what was more impressive, that behind the back, over the head pass, or Trey Alexander's dunk tonight?
I mean, both plays are pretty dang impressive. We got a lot of talent on this team. Trey rising up and dunking on somebody. Probably that gives a lot of credit to Jeremy Anderson and Trey's work ethic in the weight room, because it's probably a play he doesn't make last year. But him able to go one-on-one at the rim and be able to finish over somebody at the rim is pretty spectacular. And then, of course, Baylor's behind the head pass to Kalkbrenner, having eyes behind his head, pretty impressive.
Coach, R2 held out in the second half, a little tightness in his groin area. Is everything okay with him?
Yeah, I think it's just something we'll maintain. We'll take it pretty easy. We don't have practice tomorrow. We'll have practice Tuesday. We won't practice Wednesday. And then for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll prepare for St. Thomas. So he's got a pretty light load the next 2-3 days. He'll get in there with Ben, get treatment, and hopefully get that groin right for our 4 practices going into our opening night, November 7th.
Yeah, St. Thomas, school out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, just transitioning to Division I. What do you know about them?
I don't know much about them. I know they want to play spread basketball, like the Drury team we played tonight. They want to get out, shoot a lot of threes. We'll buckle down. We've been so concerned in the preseason and the fall with just concentrating on us, getting ourselves right, haven't got too far ahead of us, looking at other opponents. This week we'll really buckle down and see what we're facing at St. Thomas and make our game plan this week and decide how we want to cover them and what we want to do offensively and defensively against them. But just pretty excited to get this season kicked off. And November 7th can't come here close soon enough. But we have a nice week of work and getting healthy and make sure R2 is all right. But it'll be an exciting night. I mean, obviously a lot of expectations going into the year, and then we kick it off next Monday.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Yep,
all
thanks,
right.
Coach.
No, I appreciate you guys, and I love being on the first podcast episode of Bluejay Banter. I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thanks, man. Talk to you
All
later.
right. Yep, have a good one. Goodbye.
Assistant Coach Ryan Miller joining us there on Coach's Corner. All right, Zach. It's time we kind of break down the game. We've got about a 5-minute highlight package courtesy of Creighton Athletics.
Yep.
So let's roll. Let's get that rolling and kind of take a look at what's going on.
And there's one thing I wanted to add on the subject of verticality. While you and Coach Miller were talking about that, I did go back and look at the box score, and Frederick King only had 2 fouls. So I did notice during the game he did a good job of just staying straight up. But I was thinking to myself, like, he didn't really foul much. So I think he did a really, really good job of just staying vertical and that's how he was getting his blocks. He was just staying vertical, and guys were trying to shoot over him, and he wasn't moving. So
yeah, he was 10 of 6 with 2 blocks.
Yeah,
10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Yeah, so he looked he looked pretty
so
good
out of our bigs tonight, we had 26 points, 9 rebounds, 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Pretty solid effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's with Kalkbrenner maybe not going full force. I think he probably could have had double-digit blocks if he wanted to, just based off of some of the stuff he did last season. And not saying he was sandbagging at all, but if he had gotten like a full workload of minutes,
Absolutely.
had that.
While we get into these clips, make sure you give us a call. The info's down below on the YouTube page.
Oh, we did have one question. Trey looked great, so much confidence. Do you think he sees point guard minutes when the team is full? Because I want to hear your take on this. I kind of
perhaps in selected situations, perhaps.
Yeah, I was thinking probably in foul trouble. But if Sharif's healthy
or injury,
or injury, yeah,
one to Sharif or R2, yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
yep.
But outside of that, I think that backup point guard position is Sharif's to lose at this point. If he's back and he's healthy, it's his spot. He's been here for a long time and he's worked hard. And then
absolutely.
Another one from John. What stood out in Ben's game to you, Tim?
I just think for a freshman, he looks like he's like a junior.
Yeah, poised. Yeah.
He's so poised. Yeah, he just so poised. He can shoot it from the outside. He really didn't show that tonight. I mean, he's a really good 3-point shooter. He's only 1 of 3 tonight, but he's 4 or 5 from the line. But that's the thing he can do is he can get into the lane and cause havoc.
Yeah.
And 13 points tonight, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. No turnovers for a freshman. There you go.
And he wasn't scared to go to his left either,
No, he's a complete player, man.
Yeah, really good footwork when he drove, and
I've said this before that coaches told me that if he'd been eligible last year before all the injuries hit, he would have got some minutes. So that just shows you how good a player he is.
Yeah. All right, we can go into those highlights now.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a look at these and see what we've got to.
Enable screen sharing real quick for me.
And we'll take a look at these and see what we have here, and it'll be kind of interesting.
All right, there we go. Handoff R2, lob to the rim flush. One of what we hope will be many dunks.
Big call, slamming one down there.
That was first offensive play of the game. And
yeah, wow, it's really big. Like Arthur starting off the night draining a 3.
Yeah, first shot
crazy.
He takes,
yeah. And last year,
that tough fadeaway he hits too. Yep.
Yeah, and I said to somebody when he hits that, I go, if he hits that, he's almost impossible to guard.
Yep.
He just is. Just impossible.
He's just long. He has long strides.
And just a beautiful baseline drive by R2.
Yeah, I think he's gonna feel a lot less pressure to score this season.
There's one of your Mason Miller plays.
Yeah, that was the second of the 2. Yeah, and that was something I don't think anyone expected to see out of Farabello. Is driving, absorbing contact, finishing. He
takes contact, and he really plays well in defensive end with contact as well.
Yeah.
And I think some people thought, oh, he's just going to be a stand-up 3-point shooter, but he can do a lot of different things.
You can tell he's a guy that's seasoned in the college basketball ranks.
And this is your first taste of Frederick King, and he's going to be. UConn may have Sonogo, but they don't have a backup like Fred King.
Yeah, not at all. Nope. And I think King,
again,
as he gets more comfortable,
nice patience too.
Yeah, he'll start dunking those instead of kind of laying them up. There were some of those he could have probably gone up a little bit more aggressive, but it's his first time playing in a full speed college basketball game.
Absolutely. And there again, Farabello, going inside, and that's one of the 3 trays that Trey hit. Farabello going inside, creating space.
Yeah, there's number 2. And
there's another one.
Quick succession. Yeah, so I think that
there's another one.
Yeah, a minute and a half after the second one.
I know there right there. A guy turned around at me and just shook his head and went, "Wow."
Yeah. I think
Like,
actually I was sitting pretty close to Trey's dad at the game, and he was that was crazy too. That was kind of what we
yes,
saw him do to Jason Green at Media Day. He
yes,
had a dunk like that, and I'm glad that he did it in a game. And then this is Baylor's offensive rebound putback. I'm glad he did it in a game. There was someone behind me who said, I didn't think he was going to get that. He's so long, and he runs so well.
yeah. There are lobs that aren't particularly great, and Kalk is
Yeah.
able to come down.
Yeah. Which says a lot about his flexibility as well.
There's another one.
Yeah, Baylor's got some swagger to him. Like that was.
There you can see the halftime was 61-38, and it's already 71-38.
Yeah.
And they're just pouring it on at this point. Team playing great defense.
Yeah.
There it is. We're over 5 minutes in the half, and they haven't scored yet. Trey going
Trey
down.
was a lot of fun to watch tonight.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. That's an 18-0 run right there.
Yeah.
And he just takes it one hand slam,
Yep.
as Jack Ramsey used to say.
And there's a drive from Ben. Like he
There's our
doesn't get
guy.
phased. Yeah, he doesn't get phased. He makes the right decision, and he wasn't forcing shots either. There were a lot of probably a lot more threes he could have taken, and he just took what came to him.
There we are at 24-4 run. Now it's moved up to 27-4 run. And now it continues to climb.
Yeah. It was
30,
nice to see JC come in and hit some threes.
30-4 run. Yeah, and he's a very, very good shooter.
Yeah.
And there again, now it's a 37-6 run to start the second half, which is crazy.
Yeah, and there's Ben again going with his left.
39. Yeah. To hit the 100-point. I didn't even hear him announce. I said to somebody, they didn't announce Godfathers.
I noticed that as well.
Is that not a promotion this year?
I'm not sure. Because I had a digital ticket. And everyone has digital
Well,
tickets
that's
now?
right. They don't have digital
Yeah.
tickets right. I don't even know how they do it anymore. They probably don't do
Yeah.
it anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I've unfortunately
That's a great
haven't been able to
question
go
for
to
our
many
promotions
games over
team.
the past couple of years, but yeah.
That's a great question for a promotional team who we tried to get on our regular weekly episode of Bluejay Banter tomorrow, but unfortunately, the new person Hannah cannot be on because her Bengals are playing tomorrow night, so she has to watch them. And Jason said it's too late for him. We're doing a later edition, by the way, which is a good segue to mention that just because of Halloween and trick-or-treaters, or letting everybody get that out of the way. And we're going to kick it off live tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So join us right here on this very same YouTube channel for Bluejay Banter regular edition. We'll see if we can't effort somebody to come on and discuss college basketball with you in either Creighton form or maybe nationally with college hoops. Unsung hero tonight. Who's your vote, Zach?
Like I've already talked about before, I think Mason Miller, and it's the same stuff Coach Miller said, is you're going to need a guy because we've got, like he said, 5-6 guys who can, put up 10, 15 points a night. Like they scored, what was it, 109 points? And
yes.
Trey wasn't even the leading scorer, was he?
Oh, gosh, no.
And I would have thought that he was the leading scorer just based
Trey
on what
15.
he did.
Trey
had
15.
He had 15. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who the leading scorer was because there's going to be so many guys that are going to score 10, 15 points a night that what wins you games is going to be the guy that comes in and gets a couple offensive rebounds in a row, and it's going to be the guy that, just makes the smart pass, doesn't force up a shot, and that's why I was so impressed with Mason Miller tonight.
All right, we got word from one of our wonderful listeners that there is no Godfathers for exhibition games, but it will be back for the regular season. So there we go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on Mason Miller. He's our unsung hero tonight. Worst call tonight. I mean, it was 109-57, so
Yeah,
there's
it's
probably
kinda
not
hard
too bad calls. I would say there's one in the first half was right in front of me. It was early on. We kind of got things rolling. I think it was like 10-4, 12-4, whatever it was. And R2 goes in, tips the ball away on a really nice defensive play. It was in the half-court set, and the Drury player clearly touched the ball out, but the ref was in bad position, didn't see it. It should have gone our way, and it didn't. But that's as much of a bad call as I'll give you on a
the
just
Fred King
absolutely pummeling by Creighton tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're just being very cautious with Trey, keeping him out there for the second half.
Yeah,
it's very similar what they did with Arthur throughout a good chunk of the preseason practices.
Yep.
By the way, I should mention Alex O'Connell's brother was on Drury's squad.
Yeah, he looks a lot
Brady
like
O'Connell.
Yep, Brady
O'Connell scored 2 points tonight.
He's also a very explosive jumper. I was watching him in warm-ups, and that is definitely something that runs in the family.
Wow.
He was getting up quite a bit.
Speaking with Alex as well, saw him with a picture of in his new uniform with the Sacramento Kings G League team.
Yep, the Stockton Kings. Yep.
Yeah, clever name there. Hope they didn't stay awake all night thinking of that one.
Right. Yeah.
You know who led scoring was Arthur. What a quiet 17 points.
Yeah, I couldn't.
My goodness.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you.
He only made 1 3-pointer too, and he was 4 or 5 from the line, so that's 7. So his other 10 points were all inside, which he had that sweet turnaround, of course. But yeah,
he showed that some last year too. So if you can incorporate that and start hitting outside shots at a rate comparable to what the coaches said over and over, that last year he was one of the best 3-point shooters in practice. It just didn't translate to the games. So if that's something that translates, then he's gonna skyrocket on mock draft boards.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've already talked about Equitable Bank, but let's talk about West Pacific Dental Group. Their personalized staff provide dental care you need to get back on track. Their staff is so friendly, and they'll always guide you to a dental plan that you feel comfortable with. So give them a call today, 402-697-0765. That's Dr. Robert Hogan and his terrific staff at Pacific Dental Group. They're my dentist. So check them out today, 402-697-0765, and tell them that Bluejay Banter sent you. So let's move on to live from the locker room. We got some clips from the press conference.
We do.
All right. So first up, I believe we have a clip with Baylor Schreierman. Just talking, just give me some comments on the game.
Yep, Baylor will be the first one. That queued up right here.
Baylor only 1 turnover tonight. Ball was in your hands quite a bit. How comfortable are you getting in this system and playing around these guys?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty comfortable. Coming from South Dakota State, it's kind of similar. We like to share the ball and get the ball moving, and the guys have a lot of trust in me. Coaches have a lot of trust in me to just make the right play out there, and I don't take that for granted.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty clear to see that the coaches are okay with Baylor having the ball in his hands, making the right pass. He knows what to do when he's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Up next, we've got a little something on Trey Alexander about that dunk that he had. Let's listen to Trey.
Make sure I had the right one pulled up. I almost pulled up the media day interview, I think.
Hey, that was a good one too.
What you saw there?
Yeah. So
There we go. All right.
The poster slamming. What you saw there?
yeah. So basically, one of the GAs told me that he was like, man, are you gonna lock somebody up? And I was like, yeah, I got you. So I came out, and he tried to hit me with the crossover, the generic crossover, and I tipped it out. And then I seen somebody trailing, but then I was gonna lay it up, and then I heard R2 say dunk that, so I just dunked it. So I didn't expect him to dunk though. So.
I mean, I think about the incredible athletic ability to go in and say you're going to lay it in, and you hear somebody dunk it and then dunk. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, a guy that can't dunk, that
Yeah.
just boggles my mind that they're able to do that.
Yeah, just change your mind mid-flight. Maybe I'll dunk this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then finally we talked we heard from Coach Mack, talking just a little bit about the pace of the game. I mean, it's something probably in an exhibition game that's not that important, but certainly this team wants to play even faster than they did last year. So it was interesting to hear Coach talk about the pace of the game, and then at the end, he gives his editorial comment on Mr. Schreierman's pass.
The ball moved. It seemed like even in the first half, it was moving pretty well to get you guys going, even as you were trying to establish the pace. How did you feel about that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was good. I thought our pace was good. Our spacing at times probably needs to be cleaned up. But 26 assists on 41 shots or 41 makes is pretty good. And I think the exciting thing is we have a lot of guys. Baylor has 7 assists, R2 has 6, Trey has 4, Bello has 4. Jason Green comes off the bench, has 2. We have a lot of guys that are willing passers that are making the right play. So, that's going to pay dividends for us in the end.
How would you grade Baylor's nose behind the over there?
It worked.
Did work.
If you're going to do it against Drury in a 45-point game. Thanks.
Throw Pell Robbie Lula sitting next to me giggling when he gave that answer. Yeah, as a coach would say, yeah. I would love to hear Dana Altman's comment on that.
Yeah.
Oh, shuck, there ain't no points for show on the score. It says visitors and home team.
Yeah.
That's a little sample of what we'll be bringing you all year long. A little live from the locker room there with Baylor, Trey, and Coach Mack. Well, I think that about wraps it up. 109.57. Big game for Creighton. And join us. Our next broadcast on the Bluejay Banter YouTube network will be tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock. As we mentioned, a live edition of Bluejay Banter. Join us for some more talk about the basketball team. The women's team just absolutely steamrolled their 2 exhibition opponents, and they get ready to kick off the season as well. Women's soccer, very exciting. They're in the Big East tournament, which is very exciting for women's soccer. Big boost for them, and we'll check out the men as well. Volleyball, of course, continues to roll as normal. So thank you, Zach, so much. Thanks for all our listeners. Thanks for the comments, by the way. Again, we'll continue to encourage you to give us a call in and give us your comments on the air. You heard Ryan Miller tonight. That was excellent. And we want to thank Coach Miller. We want to thank our sponsor, Equitable Bank and West Pacific Dental Group. So Jays win 109-57. They'll be back in action on Monday night. Season opener against St. Thomas. I want to mention one last thing. Pretty darn good crowd for an exhibition game.
It was.
I was
impressed. It filled up slow, but there were a lot of people there, and they were loud. They were loud.
I heard someone on the radio comment it was 3/4 full. Okay, it wasn't 3/4 full. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was for an exhibition game. That was
a good
excellent crowd.
Yeah.
I've seen like 5 students there for an exhibition game.
That was my first thought was that was a lot of students for an exhibition game.
Yeah. And I thought that once the game started, I thought the arena, wasn't full, but I looked in the upper deck and there was quite a few people in the upper deck, which normally exhibition season, you never see that. So it'll be interesting Monday night, especially when they see in the papers, it was 109-57, the inexperienced basketball fans are going to go, whoa, they do have a good team. I'm going Monday, type thing.
Right.
But
yeah.
One last point, and maybe we'll definitely get into this tomorrow night. Didn't hear a song for the introduction.
Yeah, I was waiting for the same thing.
We're all waiting since Ye got booted, so
with
waiting to see what happens there.
Yeah.
All right.
And I also want to add, if you had a friend who couldn't catch the show live, these will still be up on our channel to watch later on. Just shoot them a link to our channel, and they can hear Coach Miller's thoughts our responses to your questions and those interviews from the media session after the game. Those will all still be
Absolutely.
there.
Then go back and see all of our shows we put on
Yep.
since we kicked this off in October, especially that whole section of player interviews, which has been blowing up when I've
Yeah.
looked at how many views we've had. And again, hit that subscribe button. We're just overwhelmed with the support so far, so keep it going.
Absolutely.
All right. We will talk to you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock here on the Bluejay Banter Podcast Network. Good evening.